What if I told you that one meal could define all your travel memories? Everyone has that unforgettable dish that they keep chasing, that they try to recreate, or that they return for more. These are the meals that are worth sharing. Today, I want to share my experiences with Viking Cruise food, some of the best food I've ever had. Now, to be fair, food is subjective, so my taste might differ from yours, but still, take a look at my photos and my thoughts on this food and see if you'd like to try this food on a Viking cruise. The best food item I had on the ship, and honestly one of the best food items I've had in my life, was the round cheesecake. It was served a few times on our 2023 Baltic Sea Scandinavian cruise. It was mostly during special events. It was magical. I was so disappointed it wasn't served on our 2025 cruise. So Viking, please find the chef from the Viking Jupiter 2023 cruise and share this recipe fleet-wide. Now, I'm a very frugal person, but if this cheesecake were guaranteed, I'd drain my savings and book another cruise right away. My partner agreed, it was that good. If you've tried this cheesecake, please comment below because I want to be reassured that it was that good. It was amazing, so I just want to hear other people back me up on this. When it comes to comfort food or a reliable lunch option, we both thoroughly enjoyed the Viking Burger at the Pool Grill. While it may not be the best burger I ever had, it's a solid choice, with thick cut fries and a delicious barbecue sauce. Now, usually I'm not a fan of barbecue sauce, but I absolutely loved the Viking one. So much so that I asked for extra on my burger. We had these burgers on both of our cruises. However, on the second cruise, I noticed that the cook seemed to be new to the station. He forgot to add the barbecue sauce and some other toppings, so I politely asked for them. When I sat down, I saw him go over and read the menu displayed on the other side of the counter. Now, this incident demonstrates that the staff is very attentive and takes the time to ensure everything is done correctly. For breakfast, Mamsens offers a very unique treat: Norwegian Waffles. While most Western restaurants often feature eggs Benedict and pastries, brown cheese on waffles is a Norwegian specialty. Side note, if you're in Oslo, Harald's is a great place to try them. They're sold at a reasonable price, and it's a cool place to visit. Now, back to the ship waffle. It's presented beautifully with fruit and sour cream. The brown cheese has a caramelized flavor that's simply delicious. We've been searching for this cheese in our city, but it's been elusive. Perhaps it's another reason we should consider booking another Viking cruise. Craving something simple, healthy, and delicious? Look no further than the poached salmon. I initially thought it looked bland, but it turned out to be surprisingly good. The salmon was cooked to perfection with no fishy taste. It was tender and flavorful, complemented by a lovely dill sauce, small potatoes, and cucumbers. It was a heartening meal in the best way possible. The poached salmon is also a dedicated meal to the restaurant, differentiating it from the cafe. Speaking of the cafe, it tends to serve the same meals as the restaurant, but the restaurant's presentation makes the food look so much nicer. I believe that this visual trick actually enhances the taste of the food. So if you have time for the sit-down service and don't want to try a little bit of everything, opt for the restaurant over the cafe buffet. I preferred the restaurant because it felt like a more relaxed and luxurious experience for enjoying the meal. You don't feel rushed, and they serve a nice bread basket with your meal. Now, you can get the same bread at the World Café, but I found myself forgetting about it in that setting and missing out on their excellent selection of breads, like their cornbread with real pieces of corn in it. Very delicious. The World Café has its own advantages though. It has a dedicated sushi station, which I don't think you can find anywhere else on the ship. My sushi-loving partner preferred the cafe over the restaurant, and to be fair, the sushi was really good. It was a struggle some days to agree on where to eat. Another thing I liked about the cafe was the Asian noodle station. It was never busy, but the noodles there were really good. I particularly enjoyed the noodles with peanut sauce, which I believe were called Dan Dan noodles. I had never tried that noodle dish before, but I loved it so much that I ordered it a few times on the ship. The World Café is also a great place to try a variety of desserts. Sometimes we'd have a meal elsewhere on the ship and then stop by the World Café for a second dessert. One simple yet tasty dessert that the World Café always seems to have is the little fruit pastry cups with a custard filling. I love these, and they remind me of something that my grandmother used to make. Very simple yet delicious. When it came to quenching my thirst, I would always order the peach iced tea. I'm not sure if this is on all Viking fleets and if this brand is offered on all of them, but it was really good. It's a German brand that I cannot find locally, and nothing else has been comparable. So if you're on the ship and it has it, give it a try. It's very refreshing. Circling back to breakfast, I love Eggs Benedict. On our first Viking cruise, they had this spicy Eggs Benedict sauce. Now, I didn't mind that, but my partner hated it. On our latest cruise, they removed the kick, and it was likely to please more palates. However, I didn't like the change from traditional Eggs Benedict in the cafe to serving poached eggs in a cup with some holiday sauce and little bits of ham. There was no English muffin, and the eggs in the cup were very soft, not medium or hard. Luckily, the restaurant will cook the eggs to your liking and serve them on an English muffin. Just ask for a little extra sauce because I found they didn't put enough on. Overall, the Eggs Benedict are good at the restaurant if you make a few requests. All the pastas on the ship were excellent. The tomato sauce they use is delicious, and the white sauce pastas are just as good. There's a specialty Italian restaurant on board called Manfredi's, but we preferred the other specialty restaurant, the Chef's Table. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Now, the issue with Manfredi's isn't the restaurant itself. The issue is probably with us. I think people outside of Italy tend to have an anglicized take on their food, and you go into a restaurant expecting a meal to be a certain way, only to find it's not your usual take.
If it had, like, ham in it, it's closer.
No.
It's closer to a British carbonara.
Oh, no.
It is. No, that's true.
Oh, well, that's, I'm glad you're standing there.
Do you agree?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
If my grandmother had wheels, she would have been a bike. It's... You know what? It doesn't make any sense what you said. It's a different recipe. It's got nothing to do with the macaroni cheese.
Case in point would be the chicken parmesan. In Canada and the US, it would be drowning in sauce served with pasta. Here, it was lightly sauced with no pasta, but some greens were put on top. It's still good, but not what you're probably expecting. On the other hand, some items like the lasagna are what you expect, but of a higher quality and taste. The steak here is really good too. Viking gets high quality beef that is very tender. It's the go-to item at Manfredi's. One item I did not like here was the veal dish, Ozobuco, probably not saying that right, but it was not what I expected. Now, I have never had this meal before, but the veal tasted like it was soaked in one of those VH teriyaki sauces. Probably my least favorite meal of our cruise. One final note on Manfredi's is that the bread basket here is even better than the restaurant. My partner really likes their blue cheese bun, so if you're into blue cheese, you've got to give it a try. Same with the desserts. They're a step up here from the restaurant. The tiramisu is very good. Now the best for last, and that's the chef's table. We overheard a few people being picky about the menu items here, not believing that a British menu could be luxurious, or thinking that the Asian menu was similar to Chinese takeout. It seemed like some people only think fancy meals in fine dining are steak and lobster. But our British menu was divine, and the Asian menu was succulent. And don't get me started on the Mexican menu. The ribs were some of the most tender, melt-in-your-mouth beef I have ever had. So good. The mushy peas on the British menu were so tasty that we tried to make them at home. We've never had them before, and even though we couldn't get them as good as the ones on the ship, they were still delicious and easy to make. I particularly liked the Scotch egg from this menu. The fish and chips and beef were also very good. Again, all the seafood and beef on the ship seemed to be really high quality. As mentioned, the Mexican meal was also very good. The Asian one was excellent. I loved the soup they served the first time we went to the chef's table. It was like a sweet and sour, but better. You really can't go wrong. It will surprise you. Okay, we've covered all the main meals, but what about the snacks? Well, you can always grab a snack at the living room bar. They have open sandwiches, cookies, and muffins. We found everything here to be very good with no issues. If you're craving fancy snacks with little sandwiches, classical music, and a variety of teas, head to the Wintergarden in the late afternoon. They served the aptly named afternoon tea, which is a British culinary ritual that's simply sumptuous. We thoroughly enjoyed the little sandwiches and even tried making the cucumber sandwich at home. The warm scones served with clotted cream and jam, along with a selection of cakes and pastries, were also delicious. Finally, the tea selection was vast, and we didn't find a single one that we didn't like. As you can see, it's really hard to find a bad item on the ship. I do wish they had better coffee beans though. I find the coffee at all the food stations to be too acidic, and it upset my stomach. My hack was to use the espresso machine in the room and melt a chocolate bar from the mini fridge and make it into like a little mocha. I found this coffee drink to be a lot better to digest. Speaking of the room, They also offer room service at no charge. We tried it once and it was good, but we preferred to get out of the room and eat. It was convenient though for an early breakfast. Final thoughts? Well, it's totally fine to book a Viking cruise for the food alone. It was a major reason why we tried Viking in the first place, and it didn't disappoint. That's why we booked another one. Now, we can't keep booking Viking cruises all the time because we'll go broke, but it's worth the money at least once if you can do it. So give it a shot. The food won't disappoint. It's delicious. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. Now, I'm new to this, but I'm having a lot of fun sharing my travels with you, learning how to edit videos, and seeing my progress along the way. I feel like each new upload I've gotten better, and I'm excited to share my next video with you, so stay tuned for that. Till then, cheers.